Ivy was a second-year student of accounting in the University of Benin, Nigeria. She was a tall, slim, and chocolate-skinned girl who was known for her natural beauty that usually got her lot of advances from guys wherever she found herself. Just like every other girl of her age, Ivy had her friends and lived a regular schoolgirl life. She was the type to be described as beauty and brains, but there was a problem. Ivy was from a poor background. Her family struggled financially to meet up with her school needs and expenses. She was disciplined and from a Christian home, so she never considered having to sell her body for money. She managed to do menial jobs like assisting market women on busy days to sell just to take care of some personal needs and send some money back home when there was extra, but things were still bad. It was the holiday after the first semester in her second year she got back home. Her mother sat her outside that night, telling her of her friend's youngest brother who was in search of a wife to marry and how she had recommended Ivy to the young man. The idea didn't sit so well with Ivy, but after the whole persuasion and convincing from her mom, she couldn't help but promise to consider it. Things happened so fast. The young man, Efe, was invited the following week for a meeting, and he didn't fail to come along with a lot of gifts for the family as he really wanted to impress Ivy. Efe was a tall, dark-skinned, and fine-looking young man. Although he was quite mature, that didn't matter to Ivy's parents. Ivy, on the other hand, thought he was good-looking and caring with all the gifts he showered on her. She consoled herself that he was the kind of man her family needed to be liberated, whether or not she was still very young. She had second thoughts since she was just 21, but she didn't know what her parents would do if she should refuse Efe after all the benefits they were getting from him. In 4 months' time, Ivy's parents were marrying off their first child out of 5 children to a man over 40 years of age. Ivy was resuming her third year in school as a married woman. It surprised as many of her friends who found out, but it didn't matter. Weeks into marriage, Ivy found out that her husband was not just based outside the country, but was married with the children, which were females. She couldn't believe she was now someone's second wife, and was solely married for just making babies. Male babies precisely, since her husband was seriously in need of a male child and advised by his sister to come get a wife in Nigeria who could give him one. Ivy felt trapped. What had she gotten herself into? She got a slap from her husband when she tried explaining her displeasure about what she found out and how she wasn't ready to start making babies since she was still in her mid-year in school. Her father was now ill, and she needed money from Efe to pay his hospital bills. But on top of that, she had just found out she was pregnant. Leaving the marriage was no longer a considerable option. Ivy struggled with handling academics with pregnancy, and her grades had reduced drastically. Her husband had gone back to be with his main family. After all, she was just a backup plan. After 9 months, she gave birth to a baby girl, which got matters worse and out of control because her husband now completely saw her as useless and neglected her. She hated herself for the decision she made to marry Efe, for giving into the pressure from her parents, for being entirely deceived by just what she saw, for losing her purpose and herself while thinking all she needed was a man, for failing to work towards empowering herself financially. Now she was 23 years old with a child, a broken marriage, and a low-class degree, while being a financial burden. What do you think about Ivy's story? This is the situation of a lot of young girls in the country right now, thinking all they need is a man, and getting pressured by not just their peers and family members, but themselves as well, without realizing what they really need is self-empowerment. Share your opinions and lessons learned in the comment section, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more educating and inspiring stories like this one.